good resource to keep a good understanding about how the systems are connected and how they speak to each other.
Yes.
Michelle, do you think you can give some insight here so that Feroz and his team can get an understanding?
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Sorry, am I supposed to get something, or are you expecting something from me?
He wanted to share his screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Okay, now you can start sharing the screen.
So this is a diagram that I have. It's Bus 5, so the bus ecosystem platform that we have through an iframe.
Yeah, okay, so that's an iframe, it's not an API connection, is it?
Exactly. Through the iframe, we connect, we host the Creator Gateway website component.
Okay. Is it possible to get a copy of this diagram?
If
By
you send it to
email
me,
or I put it here on the.
We have a secure location where you can upload.
send it to me, Michelle, and I'll upload it.
Okay. Then through APIs, we just connect to authenticate, have a token, and that's it. So we authenticate, we have a token. We can show the website with that token, and it shows what we need to show. I did.
What type of token is it? Is it SAML2? Is it OAuth? Is it just a Microsoft token for authentication? Do you know what type of authentication this is?
No, it's simply what's the
Entra ID token?
No, not at all, not at all. It's a simple
OAuth?
see, no. Base 64
the JWT
token.
So base 64
so it's encrypted. Yeah, it's encrypted, and then we just decrypt it from in Creator Gateway and read the information that we need to show.
How, it's encrypted, but the token itself, how is it created? Where is it created? Is it Entra ID token?
No, it's in Bus. It's
but in Bus
created in the code.
So the Bus creates a token.
So we encrypt it, and then
that a user is authenticated.
Yes.
So it's an authentication token.
Yes.
Authentication or authorization or both?
A bit both, because we can let you know if you're an admin or not, and I need to show you just a deal or not.
So it shows
the list.
Your authorization level apart from your authentication.
Yes.
So Bus application actually generates an authentication and authorization token based on the user who has authenticated using Entra ID.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's encoded using base 64, right?
Right.
Base 64 encoding. Okay. Do we have a document describing different areas of BOSS, like different modules, or how, what are the different modules? Like now I know that there's an encryption module, but there's also an authentication authorization module, obviously. Is there any documentation around BOSS?
Say that again, sorry, because I just was looking into my, and I'm wrong. It's not the base 64. It's AES encryption. This is the encryption that we use for that token. It's not base64.
It's an AES encryption,
Yes.
128-bit. It's using ECB and PKC S5. Okay. Is it possible to get a copy of this as well?
Okay, sure. Yes.
It's using, it says the -x.cn. So it's a Chinese application.
Yes. Maybe.
Okay. So this is built into
No, this is just a website, so I can read a bit the token but it's actually in the code. Like I said, we use a library to decrypt and encrypt to provide the information.
okay. So that's now sent to the API for Creator Gateway.
Yeah.
And Creator Gateway can decrypt that authentication, and based on that authentication, it can gain information and and get all the insurance. So what does this Creator Gateway do in relation to Boss? Like Boss provides
Boss,
you,
exactly. Boss provides you a mortgage perspective, mortgage deal.
Yeah.
Out of those mortgage, the brokers can't refer and can't provide insurance. So they provide that deal and refer it to the insurance or creditor. In that sense, it's a copy pretty much that we do. So we do send the deal into our creditor gateway platform, a snapshot of the deal, so it can be treated and have a different process for the insurance. So that's pretty much what we do. We send out the deal information to create a new lead, in a sense, in the insurance. And then in Creditor Gateway, the broker can communicate with the client. Do you want that coverage, that insurance? Just one applicant, the two applicants, and all the details. And afterwards, we can send it to the insurer.
Via FTP.
Using FTP, yes.
It's not an SFTP.
No.
Okay. And then what is Finestra?
A client, a partner that
a partner.
uses one of our APIs to have also insurance. So we have, like I explained the other day, we could have brokers on a different platform other than Boss, in this case Finestra.
Yeah.
And they can submit to the insurance.
Okay, this is good. If we can have this drawing, it'll be very helpful. And the other one that you just showed about encryption. Now,
Okay.
coming back to Entra ID. So the Entra ID, my understanding from the other day was that there are a couple of, or maybe even 3 Entra IDs. Can I start sharing my screen again?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Do you see my screen? Oh, sorry, I think I shared the wrong one. Can you see my screen with this?
Yep, with the diagram, yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, so we have this Entra ID over here, which is used to authenticate the users over here, all the users that are coming in, or this is for internal users, the system admins, the DBA,
That's
the
right.
developers, they are all in this Entra ID.
Yeah, it's more for that. The actual users that access Boss themselves, the authentication and that system is built into Boss. So they don't use Entra ID for that. It's more for the DB admins, developers, etc., that might need to have access to these environments.
So this Boss users, these are the users, these are the clients or the agents or the brokers.
Mm-hmm.
What is their ID? How did they get the ID? Is it their email address which is stored in Boss with their user ID and password, or are they configured in Entra ID as well? How are they provided with credentials?
So there's an onboarding process where they are added to Boss, and there's a broker services team that captures the profile of the broker, adds it to Boss, and then they are given credentials to log in with.
But that credential, is that configured inside of this Boss
Yes, it
application?
is. It is,
And
yes.
so it is stored inside this database,
That's
the
correct.
Boss database, right?
That's right.
They are not stored in the Entra ID.
No.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, now coming up to alerts, do we have any alerts configured in Boss which is like, are there any logs which are being read on, every time a user logs in, or if they look at some application, or they look at a client's application, or they upload any information? Is there any logs that are configured with Boss or with database which shows exactly what's happening, and if a hacker tries to log in to get some alert saying, hey, this user is an unauthenticated user, or let's say, Intune, and any logs being sent to Intune, or Intune raising any alerts, are there any SIEM or any other way of raising some alerts?
So there are logs. I believe, and I guess Hassan, you're going to have to speak on behalf of the way that the logs are used and any alerting that's happening at that point. But there's logs on almost everything. It might be useful to kind of give a sense of what those logs are and maybe some samples. Would that be something you're looking for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It would be a good idea just to get some samples,
Okay.
but it has to be in a very confidential area, and then we'll
Yeah.
delete it as soon as we don't need it.
So we can take some snippets of some of the logs that we have, and we can upload them as we have done some of the other details, and then you can dispose of them once you're finished with them.
So those will be the Boss application itself, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Now, from what I know, these Boss application, they are configured on Windows systems, right?
Yep. For the most
So,
part, yes.
so how are those Windows system configured? Like, let me see if I can go back to this is sorry, the
I mean, you're talking about the virtual machines?
yes. So virtual machine itself. So you can see over here, this is Boss. This is Boss DB1, for example. But I'm looking at Boss. I think this is one. These are the two databases. I'm looking for the front end server.
So that would be web
122, 132.
122. Okay, these ones.
122 or 132.
Yeah, right here. Okay, so you can see they have their IP addresses. This, I think, web 102 and 112, these are the version, web version, Boss version 4.
4, yes.
And these two are web version 5, but these two are still in use as well, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
At least for now.
at least for now, yeah. So if I go in here, so it's a data center version, Windows Server data version. Okay. Who has access to these machines?
That's on.
The developers have access here, or just system admins?
System admins, plus some sport developers. But they are not actually using it. Most of the time it's a DevOps team who is accessing this one using P2S certificates.
So when you say DevOps, it's you and Manoj,
Yes,
anybody else?
no. No.
But developers do have access here, right?
Sport team, dev
Support team.
Some.
How many
of
people in the support team?
I think one at the moment.
One person?
Yeah,
And where is that person located? In Canada or is it somewhere else?
in Canada.
Okay. Stalin, did you have any questions?
Yeah, so under this resource group, like how are we segregating the Azure resources? Like are we separating them by environment or all the environments are in the same resource group? How are we categorizing those things?
We categorize based on the resource groups. We have multiple resource groups, for I think we see couple of things. A couple of them are customer portal, credited gateway, TMAC POC. Those are different resources group. Belongs to different application.
So suppose like in the same screen, I see the UAT regression VM on the same screen. Is this under the resource group? No, but under the architecture, this TMACC resource group, I also saw some UAT resources. So are we keeping the prod and UAT resources together, or the QA is on the separate resource group? Like how are we storing these resources?
Currently, at the moment, they are in the same group, but we are separating them. We are in transition for this one. We are separating those environments from the production.
Okay. So all the production resources are under the same resource group. Like if you want to check all the resources of BOSS applications that are being used in Azure, so we can find all the resources under this resource group, or also for the prod we have like multiple resource group as well.
Related to the BOSS application is mostly under TMAC POC.
So this is all the TMACC proof of, so POC stands for proof of concept, right? Or is it was a proof of concept? And
It was a proof of concept that became permanent, yes.
Yeah.
So it might have been a good idea to rename the resource group, I agree. But at this moment, it is that's what we have for now.
What is this? This blue dot over here? Is this connected somehow to this place, eConnect? Does this say that this actually goes and connects over here? Is this eConnect?
That's bus, and that's.
Yeah, so that dot does look like it's eConnect.
There's a description on the bottom of it there.
Yeah, but so the BOSS front end and API web cluster 122 and 132, that's production. The dot itself is speaking to eConnect. And maybe that title is a little bit far away from the dot, but that's what it's supposed to be.
This eConnect is supposed to be connected to this, not this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so because over here it looks like this eConnect
It's supposed
is
to be this
this,
one.
and this confused us for a little bit.
I must apologize. It's not maybe the clearest diagram, I agree, but the eConnect is supposed to be on the dot.
So this is BOSS front end and API web cluster.
That's right.
Here.
And that's
One
production.
dot.
Those are the web 122 and 132 you were just looking at as the
Yeah.
VMs.
And then here we have the load balancer. So This is fine. Now, on all this, I was able to see something the other day. I think it was balancer. Here for boss, was it boss 4? We got 2 rules over here, 2 probes. I'm going to go back. It was I was able to see actually a URL, and I logged into that URL. I was able to get to the front end directly. It's just one word solution. Stalin, do you remember which one was that? We saw the URL and I was able to log in there. Or it gave us the front end actually.
Let me quickly check.
No, it wasn't here. But this was in the front end someplace, I think. Front end. It was in web balancer and content delivery. No, I don't want to see this. I do remember it was one of those. Okay, this is, was it this one? No, not this one. This was another one. This is the front end host. No, it was a different one, but I was able to go directly to it. And it was a PHP call, if you remember. Did we take some screen capture, Stalin, at the time? I think we took some screen capture. But now I
yeah, I
sorry?
need to take a look on that.
Yeah, okay. When we have it, we will share it with everybody. Because we were able to get directly into the, so it seemed like there was no firewall install and it just went directly to that website. But I don't want to
Yeah,
take
if you find it
any
froze,
risk.
then let us know so we can adjust it quickly.
Beg your pardon?
I said, if you can find it, then let us know so we can address it quickly. If it's,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. I think it wasn't this one here. There you go. Mortgage boss 5.azureft.net. That's it. And it's actually configured as a Azure front end. And actually I can see CMD. Thing. Thirteen 107, 246.35. Okay. 'It's Microsoft. So it's one of the Azure IPs that has been provided to you.
Mhm.
So this, that you can see that, I don't know if just one IP address that's been provided to you or there's a group of IP addresses that have been provided to you for Azure, but also, we know that you've got lots of different, we saw the 52 and then we saw one of the 53 ones. So there are different IP addresses that you have for front end. So it's not just one big or one a block that has been assigned to you. For everything, I see that there's a different IP address. This we saw the one for 52 or 53. And then we saw the 42. I'll send you all the IP addresses that we've figured out over here.
Thank you.
Now, for the APIs as well, I think I've seen the different IP addresses. And I'll get back to you with all of those IP addresses, like a resource groups. Stalin, which one was that? The one that we saw with the IP address range of like 5,000 IPs?
It was under the VNet. Let me quickly grab you that.
I wanted to talk about that. Do you remember which one was it? Was it POC or was it cPanel?
It's POC, I guess. TMMS, yeah. Or the next one, the 888 one. Plus one.
Yeah, 10.10.0.0/20. It's a huge subnet. That's about 5,000 IP addresses. Of was it 5,000 or 4,096? I think. This is /20 IP address, and so we wanted to know exactly why we needed such a large ones, or why is it being configured with such a large address space. I can see the Azure firewall has not been configured on this VNet. The DDoS protection is not configured. Pairing this, you've got just one network in here. And and out of this, we saw the network for BOSS, and you can see over here. So POC VNet. So this is 10.0.2.0/24. So that's 256 IP addresses, which are configured just out of. So it goes from 10.10.0.0 to it goes to about 10.10.15.255, I think. Isn't that 15.255, Stalin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of that, one VNet or one subnet complete of 256 is being set aside for proof of concept. So that's again, but we don't see any I don't think Microsoft Defender is working on this VNet. Again, private endpoints are also not configured. Azure firewall is not configured, DDoS protection. And we see this on most of the networks. So that's why we wanted to understand more about, like, I can see that this is TMACC proof of concept, but what are all those other networks? How are they defined? How are they interconnecting? Because a hacker can get into one of those IP addresses.
And then they have access.
And then because there's no firewall, they can just come directly in here.
And one more thing I noticed was there was no NSCs assigned to any of the subnets inside that. That is no blockage to any ports within the subnets.
Yes.
Which was also an critical issue.
Yeah, we don't see any subnets, or we don't see any, the ports are not being blocked, services are not being blocked. So that's why we want to log into the machine itself. So if I can get the access to these machines, I don't want to see the data. I just want to see exactly what ports are being blocked by the firewall if they are system level firewalls configured on these. I want to see what ports are allowed, what services are allowed, and or whether or not they are blocking any services at this level. And if there is any server hardening, are you using CIS hardening guides, for example? Or are you using any hardening guides for hardening these operating systems in here? Because again, if we go into in here, and if you go into VMs, virtual machines, look at this one, boss DB 101, and this is a
Okay.
database server.
I think for NSD, we are using at VM level.
Beg your pardon again?
For NSD, we are using at VM level.
At VM level. Okay, good. That's fine, but I just want to log in and see that so that I can just put that in the report. That's
Maybe
a
what I,
lot of CPUs and RAMs. Must be very heavily used system.
the DB for sure. And we're reviewing all of that right now. But Feroz, maybe what I can suggest is we could schedule a separate call with Hassan and Manoj, and you guys get access to the VPNs, etc., and they can confirm anything that you want in that call. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Just wanted to also show you that there was some see impact over here is high. There are
Yeah.
certain things installed, configured over here. But these are, and we also saw some vulnerability alerts that I wanted to just bring to your attention.
Mhm.
But that's okay. We'll put that all in the report. And so maybe on Wednesday, if we can have meeting with Hassan and Manoj,
For sure.
we can get quick access to these VMs. We'll go in and check the VMs, and then we will just start writing our reports and give you
Okay.
the reports.
What I'll do, Hassan, maybe send some availability for yourself,
Mhm.
and we'll follow up with Manoj to make sure that it matches. And then we'll schedule something. Feroz, if you're okay with that, Hassan, and yeah, we'll contact you directly.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You can see subnet 2. Over here again, you can see these are the subnets 10. This is the address space,
Mhm.
and you can go into subnet 2. No, we don't see the config subnet 2 over here. Let me see. VNet. So again, you can see also this from SQL high availability that 192.168.10.0 and 24/24, which means, and I think this is just meant for high availability, handshake, where every 5 seconds you get the hello from the other machine. But again, this is /24, 10.0/24, where you only need 4 IP addresses. You need one for the network, one for the broadcast, and the 2 machines that are connected together in maybe active passive or active configuration.
Mhm.
So, and then this gives you 256, which again can be misused. So there's no alerts set up. So there's no matrices set up. There's no log analysis happening.
Do we use any other tools to monitor such resource uses, like if the CPU is very high or the memory? Like, do we use any alerting mechanism to alert those kind of incidents?
Yes, we for database we are using Redgate DB monitor.
Netgate, DB monitor.
Redgate.
Redgate. Okay, you
Yeah.
use Redgate.
And for our application monitoring, we are using Datadog.
Sorry,
normal
which one? For
Datadog.
Oh, you use Datadog. Okay.
Datadog. Yes.
Yeah, I know Datadog.
Yeah.
I've used Datadog before.
Is it only for the resource, or do we do the trace monitoring as well?
For
Like
our BOSS
any-
application, entire BOSS application, we are monitoring so Datadog.
Okay. Stalin, anything else you want to highlight?
Hassan, if you could provide me the resource group name for the front door and WAF for this WAS application, because I was unable to find under the TMACC POC resource group. So
This
I
is
think
this is the
it
front
should
end,
be in
isn't it?
the TMAC POC, the same one. Let me check. You're looking for front door, right?
yeah, front door and WAF. We were reviewing the WAF policies and everything.
Mhm.
If you have any documentation available about the BOSS application, like any how it's configured or how if it has different modules, how are those modules working? What sort of APIs are we using here? There's any API standard Azure APIs, or is it special APIs? That'll
Richard,
come really handy.
do you have any high level, actually, you have a high level architecture diagram that identifies the different components that might be included in an environment. I'm not sure if it's going to give him everything he needs, but it might give him visibility into what components are there, and maybe he maybe has better questions to ask after having reviewed it.
Stalin, for front doors regarding BOSS application, we have a resource group named BOSS and BOSS FD. And we also
Can you send me on the chat?
yes.
Resource group. We've got BOSS right here. What is this used for?
Your front doors is in that resource group.
There's a different one, BOSS FD, which seems like
So that BOSS 5 API is the one that we are using for the BOSS application, right? Okay, I see the WAF also exists in the same resource group. That's great.
it's taking some time.
Yes.
Right, copy this. Okay, because it's an API, it's not going to answer to HTTPS. Should have other. Is it a SOAP based, or do you know what type of? Is it SOAP, normal SOAP, or is it normal? Any other way of communicating with this API? Do you know the protocols that are in use over here? So Azure Front Door Classic. It's 52 to 2994 to 443. So it looks like HTTPS. It's 443. It is HTTPS, but it probably based on SOAP or any XML, some other XML processes. Okay, we can see Kasi and Manoj, they are the owner. And then we have all these contributors. Everybody else is configured as a contributor. Hassan, you are a user. Carl is based as a user, but they're all, so Dev Broker website, it's a managed identity. So the two of you are based on the Active Directory or Entra ID, user ID. The others are, this is just a service principal. These are all configured as a service. So then we have readers, Dennis, Enrique. Okay, we are all set up as. Okay. So Defender Kubernetes agents, we have Kubernetes. So are we using any containers, or are we just developing the containers maybe for future use? Is Kubernetes in use over here?
Not currently.
Maybe that's something from the development team. Is that Manoj, or would it be somebody else from the development team? What's his name? Mauricio, do you have Kubernetes in operation here?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
If anything, I would think that it's a DevOps in preparation of being able to use it. So they may be testing.
Yeah, a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So it's some testing going on with Kubernetes,
Yeah.
if possible, or at least have the capability to start testing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Stalin, what else? We have already used up 1 hour.
This one for again, Asan. What do we use for CI/CD? Do we use Jenkins or the Azure built-in DevOps pipeline?
Can
Or
you speak up a little bit, Stalin? I can't hear you properly.
what do we
Your-
use for the CI/CD? Like, do we use the Azure DevOps or Jenkins
Yes.
or other tools?
Azure DevOps.
Okay. All right. But so on Wednesday we'll talk to Manoj, and we'll find out. So from what I hear at the moment, even the developers, there's only one Entra ID. There's no two different Entra IDs for any of. So all the users are configured in one Entra ID, right? Hassan?
Anurag, I think, is the right person.
So
Okay.
we wait for Manoj to confirm, or who is going to confirm? And this primary DC and secondary DC, this was what you had on your premises, and now it seems like they are also configured on the Azure. So there's a couple of servers that are working as Active Directory servers or domain controllers, and they are connected to the Azure Active Directory.
So we will, either myself or Manoj will confirm. In terms of the DCs, it looks like there's the Azure connected DCs, which are these two, and I think Anurag alluded to the fact that they have some on-prem ones, which are different ones, that are specifically for one of the brands as they migrate to use these ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are not the on-prem ones then.
No.
They are different on-prem ones.
Yeah.
But either this one or the on-prem one, are they also being used by the developers, or the developers
No.
are not configured on any of the Active Directories
They would be configured on this one.
on this one? So I think on Wednesday we'll confirm whether all the developers are on the same Entra ID as well, or is there a separate Entra ID?
Okay.
Okay, good. I think for now today, I think we've used up the hour, and we'll wait for confirmation and some access to all of these machines so we can just check the configuration and then start writing the report.
Sounds good.
And those two drawings that we saw today about the insurance.
Yeah, we added it. We are going to upload them for you shortly.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
That is done actually. It's on the
It's done.
folder name June 30th.
Okay.
Four images.
Okay,
One quick question. Sorry, sorry. Last. So, do we get access for the new URLs for the dash scan, or do we have any time frame that we need to perform the scan?
The two takeaways that we have are Nilesh and Ram are going to work with you on getting you access to do the scan using Vercode in for those four environments. Those are the four environments that we talked about. As I said, Nilesh and Ram will work with you guys to get you access to maybe make sure that you can do that. And then we have a meeting with Hassan and Manoj to make sure that you guys can go through all of the VMs and get access to see what you need to, and get all the confirmations that you need that way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll let Nilesh and Ram so Nilesh reach out, figure out a day and time that you guys can have a call just to go through what the requirements for the Vercode scan is, plan it so that we can do it, and then we can move from there.
Sure.
And then we can use your license for the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else that you guys need? Feroz, you're good?
We are good. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Just want to add, for any information regarding to DevOps, just like small information or just like locating the resource group or something like that, you just quickly send an email. It is more visible to reply
Sure.
quickly over there. It's not like to wait 1 or 2 days for just this particular thing.
Okay.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you.
Anytime. And
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Feroz.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Recording stopped.